Hello, and thank you for watching this video on how to replace the public half of the key pair for SSH in the .ssh authorized key file. We're going to pretend that we are locked out of this Amazon Linux instance, and the goal here will be to try to regain access. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what availability zone it's in. And in this case, it's in US West 2A. And I'm going to launch another instance. Just for fun, I'm going to make it a small. And it's important that I launch it in the same availability zone. The reason being is that that's where my volume that I'm going to detach from my locked out instance is at. So we're going to call this recovery instance. And I'm going to create a new key pair because I'm pretending that I don't have one already. So I will call this Oregon recovery. I'm going to go ahead and grab this file. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a new security group here. Port 22. Add a rule. And launch. This will take a couple of minutes, and while that's happening, I'll go ahead and click on this instance, and I'm going to tell it to stop because I'm going to pull the root volume or detach it. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that if you were using the ephemeral storage or internal storage, when you click stop, you're going to lose that data. Nothing we can really do about that. At least not right now. So let's go ahead and stop. Or I should say not for this exercise. So this is now running. Okay, so now we're going to go over here to volumes. Let's go ahead and detach this. We can see that it's the locked out instance, so we're going to go yes. Sometimes we have to hit refresh, and now we see it's available. So let's go ahead and now attach this to our recovery instance. And we'll go ahead and go with the default dev SDF. Attach. Okay. And now let's go ahead and log into the recovery instance. And to do that, I will need to use the key pair that I downloaded, and I'll need to use the puttygen to create a PPK file. So I'm going to go ahead and load. And find the, there we go, Oregon recovery. file, and yes. .ppk. Close that out, and I'm going to grab this from my other screen. There we go. So let's go ahead and use PuTTY to connect. Set that over here. And recovery instance, let's get the public DNS name. Copy. And we'll go Oregon recovery. And then we'll grab the PPK file. Remember, we went to SSH auth. We're going to go to data, go EC2 user, and let's go ahead and save this session and open. Looks like we didn't quite get it. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's try that again. Now let's save it and open. And now we're in. Okay, so now that we're in, let's go ahead and do we're going to need to create a mount point. So we'll go sudo make directory, and I'm going to use volume 1. And now I'm going to mount the attached volume. I'll go sudo dev SDF and attach it at vol1. Helps if I type in mount. MOUNT. Okay, now we're in. Now what I can do is I can cd to volume 1. And now you can see I'm at the root of the volume that was attached to my locked out instance. So now I'm going to go into the EC2 user. To see the dot files. cd.ssh ls, and we're going to add our new public key to this file here. So let's go ahead and back up a step first and generate a new key. So to do that, we'll go SSH keygen -t RSA, and it's going to ask me if I want to put it into the home EC2 user SSH. The answer to this is absolutely not, because this is the root drive of the instance that we're on now, not of the instance that we're trying to recover. So we're going to go ahead and put in our own. We're going to go vol1 home EC2 user, and I'm just going to call it key pair. And keep it empty. Oh, okay. CD. Volume 1. Home. EC2 user. ls. And there are our key pair. The public half is what we're going to add to the authorized users. So let's go ahead and fire up a second instance, and this is why it was a good idea to go ahead and save our configuration in PuTTY. And for here, we're going to go cd vol 1 EC2 use home EC2 user dot ssh ls and vi. You can use nano if you like. I'm just more comfortable with vi. Okay, and then we're going to scroll down here. We're going to add private, or the public half of the key pair. And to get that, we're going to go vi and key pair public. WQ for write and quit. Okay. And now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and escape out of this screen. And then look at our private key. Expand this out a little bit. Okay, now we need to put this into Windows. So I'm going to use Notepad++, and I'm going to copy and paste this out. I'm going to go File, Save As, and put it on the desktop here. Call it key pair. And save. And drag the file right there. Close that out. Q. And now I'm going to use PuTTYGen again. So I have to create a PPK. And I'm going to load. Oops, I do all files. And key pair. And save. yes. And we'll call it keypair.ppk. Generated that file. So we'll go and close this out. Go ahead and exit out of these. We are done with our recovery instance, so let's go ahead and just stop it. This will take a little bit. Okay, now that it's stopped, we're going to go back down to volumes, and we're going to take a harder look at this, and we're going to go ahead and detach our SDF. Okay, we don't want to force detach. We want to go ahead and refresh. Let's try it again. Detach volume. Now attach back to our locked out. SDA1. Yes. Okay. Now we're ready to start that instance again. Now that we've reattached its root volume. Now pretty much what we did is we detached the root volume and we added a new public key pair into the authorized keys file. So now that we've completed that, we reattached the volume back to the locked out instance, and we're going to go ahead and start it. Click yes. Okay, and now it's running. So we're going to come down and look at its public DNS name. It will have changed because we stopped it. And we'll go to PuTTY again, and we'll put in this DNS name, and we're going to call this recovered. Guess it helps if I knew how to type. There we go. And save. Or no, I'm sorry. Our key pair that we generated, our new key pair, and EC2 user. Let's go ahead and save this. And let's see if it works. And we're in. So that is the process you would go through if you had lost your private half of the key pair and you want to regain control over this instance or be able to have access to it. So I hope this helps.